Idiots! Idiots, I say! That's how I'm beginning today's stream. Idiots, I say. The world's full of idiots. Not me, though. I'm smart. I woke up plaid this morning. It's a mix between pleasant and mad. I'm not even really fully awake. I got a really nice, solid night's sleep last night. I took half a Klonopin. It always knocks me out. Yeah, I probably got a solid 8 hours. Anyway, you know who's funny? Ruben R. Ruben R is a funny guy. He makes some good jokes. Like his joke at the end of the stream last night that I didn't see until this morning. Oh, it's a great stream. I learned a lot. I just don't remember what. ENFJ humor. Oh. Hello, Mrs. Bob. I'm plaid, I'm rad, and I'm getting ready for Chad to come over and hang out with me. Come on over, Chad. A little something they call the first bong rip of the day. I'm actually a mix between plaid and tartan, which is another thing that's like plaid, kind of. I'm a mix between plaid, tartan, and what are those sperm-shaped things called? Sometimes have on ties. I forget. Sperm whales, that's what they call them. If you're like me and you're out hunting sperm whales every day, you end up with a lot of whale spermaceti on you. And if you're like me, you know that's hard to wash off. That's why I use Lava brand soap. It'll keep the whale spermaceti off of you. So, as indicated in last night's stream, I called the people I needed to call yesterday in order to prepare for this week. And ready for today. One thing I need to do today, which maybe won't be exactly fun, but is necessary, is I need to go online and make a tax payment. Oh well. Rachel's the same. What you have to say? Pretty okay, you know? It's pretty amazing if you think about it that in the end this turns out to not really be a catastrophe at all. Like, you imagine your girlfriend becoming handicapped in some fashion, like losing the ability to find motor stuff very well, or walking kind of wobbly. Well, basically, you know, she's had a traumatic brain injury. But given that, it's surprisingly not a big deal. Except to the extent that she finds it a big deal, you know. Hi, Rachel. Darling. Kitty got me up. Then Kitty got me up again. At that point, it was just like, okay, I'm not going back to bed. Fuck it. Bobby's son must be Philadelphia. Isn't it funny that I know the either executive producer or associate executive producer or something like that of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. This guy John Goodner that I used to party with all the time before he was successful in Hollywood. Plaid? Plaid is like tartan. Are you familiar with tartan? What's the difference between plaid and tartan? Is there a difference? Dario Nardi is yet another party who can suck it. He can just suck it. You know why? Because here's the bottom line. Here's empirics. Here's reasoning. Alright? Empirics is shitty compared to reasoning. Let's just acknowledge that right off the bat. I can do some weak ass induction from my empirics. Why don't you do some strong ass deduction with your reasoning, fucktard? You know? I'm still a little bit on my anti-TE rant. I could use some more sleep too, Rachel, but Katie wasn't having it this morning. Kitty was not letting us sleep in. Huh, interesting. Tartan and plaid, the difference is the tartan plaid is associated with the clan, whereas regular plaid associates with no historic clan. What do you know? There is a slight difference between them. All the young men have started wearing plaid trousers in the UK. I used to have some plaid trousers, but my ESFJ ex-wife threw them away, and she did all my cool clothes. They just disappear one day. She didn't like them. I tell you who was wearing a sharp suit during halftime at the Roll at the Rams game, at the halftime of the Rams game. Or maybe it was. No, it was. It was halftime of the Rams game. Howie Long had on a very sharp plum suit. Well, it sounds like you better refine your Wi-Fi signals, Winston's mom. Don't be a Wi-Fi loser. Be a Wi-Fi finder. What's that design called that looks like big sperms all over everything? But they used to put it on ties a lot. What's that one called? There's a name for it. I know there is. I'm still feeling a little chundery. I was feeling kind of chundery all day. And I'm still feeling kind of chundery. Like yesterday I thought maybe I was getting sick. But probably my chunderiness right now just has to do with the fact that I had a huge dinner last night. And I probably have a poop brewing, you know. I'm being a poop brewer. Ugh. My stomach feels it's sort of like coffee and cigarettes first thing in the morning. It always does that, but quite good, Bobby, son. I mean, it's weird. It seems like I can put up just about anything that's a single concept and get between 1,000 and 2,000 views on it. Like, I'm going to look right now. So, here's my last chunk of shorts. Starting with Naps and Effort. Naps and Effort was the video of Kitty where I said, instead of taking naps and giving effort, let's give naps and take effort. I got 900 views. Then one when I tell the cat about her beauty and magnificent only got 96 views. Then one where I tell the peacock, I have the peacock saying, I don't like this new cat food. That got 600 views. Friday morning estate sale, in which I just say, hey look, it's Friday morning estate sale, all the stuff's still here. Got 2,238 views. Ladies suits, $50, why are they so expensive? Got 1,100 views. I am Kitty, I transcend race, culture, creed, religion. Got 1,600 views. Kitty, you know you are not allowed to bring home strange men. Got 1,500 views. And the most recent short I put up, a 4-leaf clover, it only has 107 views, but it hasn't hit the shorts feed yet. Actually, it's just starting to. Hit the shorts feed. A little bit. But sometimes when it hits the shorts feed, it's really dramatic. Like, Friday morning estate sale had nothing for a long time, basically. And then in 1 hour, from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. yesterday, got 1,400 views. The next hour, it got 700 views. And then nothing. So, it's weird. And some of them are more slow building than that. So, I'm not exactly sure how the mechanics of it work, but as long as I put up a short that is okay, I mean, it doesn't have to be genius or anything. Something kind of interesting. And the key thing to shorts, and this is why I like them a lot, No, I've been feeling chundery. Not chundry. Chundery means in a chunder-like fashion. Chunder, of course, meaning pukey. Chundery is a synonym for pukey. Anyhow, when I'm done streaming this morning, I'm gonna go back to bed, probably take another nap, since I feel like I woke up too early. But hopefully before that happens, I'm gonna poop. That's my big plan so far. I've got 2 plans today. TE Polar. Oh, the trash can one. Well, that one, and that was in fact the best one, Bobby's son. That got 30,000 views. So that was like one of my best videos ever, as far as views go. Oh, good. We got another syndrome to look up. Gorlin-Chandri-Moss syndrome. Is that the syndrome where doctors try to use empirics when they should use their brains? I have plan 1 and 2, yeah. Plan 1, well, it's actually 3 plans, okay? I'm not gonna lie. 3 plans. Plan 1 is to stream. Plan 2 is to poop. Actually, 4 plans. Plan 1 is to stream. Plan 2 is to poop. Plan 3 is to nap. Plan 4 is to make a tax payment online today. And then vague plan 5 is to deal with my own medication at CVS. And then also necessary thing 6 is to get the refill on Rachel's Prozac. So those are the things we have to do today. We'll see how much. We'll see if my message to Dr. Ingram was still too saucy despite my waiting all day. I don't think it was. My labia is always giving me trouble, Winston's mom. It is always flopping around down there like I don't know whose business. I am 16 going on 17, fellas, I'll stand in line. Bum bum ba bum 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 ba bum bum ba bum ba bum bum bum. If a guy wears plaid, button-up shirt, has a beard, and chops wood for a living, is he ISTP? No, he's a lumberjack. And that means that when he goes out to breakfast at Denny's, naturally, he orders the lumberjack breakfast. And what makes it the lumberjack breakfast is it has not only sausage, not only bacon, but also ham. You got 3 breakfast meats on the lumberjack breakfast. 3 distinct breakfast meats. You can order your sausage in link form or in circle form. I do not do a business, it's true. I need someone older and wiser telling me what to do. I am 17, going on 18. I am so wise and old. I will tell you to put your head down there and suck upon my pole. I am 16, going on 17. That's not appropriate. Those sort of songs don't make it into musicals anymore, or TV shows, or whatever. And not American ones. Now, everybody's always 18 before anything happens in their life. Are you feeling corduroy? Oh man, I wish I was feeling corduroy. Corduroy is fantastic. If you're feeling corduroy, you're feeling like a gun dealer who looks like Lando Calrissian. I'm corduroy. Corduroy is the name of my character who's a gun dealer that looks like Lando Calrissian. Circa 1980. Okay. Not old Billy D. Williams, who does still look basically the same as young Billy D. Williams, by the way. Old Billy D. He was the Jackie Robinson of Star Wars. Han, you old dog. You old... You know what my favorite scene, and maybe all of the real Star Wars trilogy, 4, 5, 6, is when Leia says to Han, "You scruffy-necked, scoundrelly nerf herder." And Han Solo was like, "Easy, your worshipfulness," or whatever. Another one of my favorite scenes from all the Star Wars is 4, 5, which is just 4, 5, and 6 as far as I'm concerned. But you can fuck the other Star Wars. Is when, in Return of the Jedi, Luke says, "I see them wait, Leia!" Just like that. You know, it's like, it struck me even as a kid as a strangely said line, you know? Pigs in a blanket. You can't go wrong with pigs in a blanket for breakfast. Because while they're called pigs in a blanket, they are fortunately, actually, in a pancake. Which is an appropriate breakfast food, unlike a blanket. Blanket! How can someone who isn't play, blast, consume use the same amount of energy as one who is? Well, you've got to be blast, play, blast. Swim, jump, sing. I'm Swim, jump, sing, the North Korean women's bodybuilder. Swim, jump, sing. Diana Ross and Billy D. Williams in Mahogany. I wanted to grow up to be a beautiful black supermodel. You weren't tall enough. That was the problem? That was the problem. Adderall up, and what do you get? You get Eric who's got more stick-to-itiveness. Eric with more stick-to-itiveness. That's the same. That's basically what you get. Eric with more SE when Eric does Adderall. What do you get when Nacho Business does Adderall? I don't know. I'm not sure. It depends what type you are. Play Blast Consume. Will you stop blasting my play with your consumption? Isn't playing and consuming the same thing? I'm pretty sure when I'm smoking bong rips, I'm playing. I'm pretty sure. And in fact, look, you're going to watch me blast, play, and consume concurrently. I'm going to put this bong rip right here. I'm going to blast it with my blowtorch. I'm going to consume it. And then I'm going to say, yay! Blast. Consume. Play. Now what am I doing? What am I doing? What's the other one you can do besides blast, play, and consume? Rest? No, I'm resting. Whew. Look at me. Going between blasting, playing, consuming, and resting all in one bong rip. Oh yeah, I got some fancy ideas for falling asleep. What you do when you want to go to sleep is you pretend you've been transported to another world where you have magical powers. And as in most isekai, you're pretty OP. And then you walk around and figure out what's going on and meet with people and talk to them and solve their problems. And then before you know it, you're going to sleep. That's what I do. It's called pretending. You have to pretend to go to sleep. Well, that's true. We are the most boring type. I bore more holes into idiots than just about anybody I know. You might call me the wormwood of idiocy. And you know what, Adska? I don't believe that's your real name. I don't think your family name is Goodhog, and I don't think your first name is really Adska. Okay? I think you're lying about your name. What parents would name their kids Adska? Nobody. What family is named the Goodhog family? No family. So just, I don't even believe you. You just make me want to blast, play, and consume. ENPs are boring. Oh, we're anti-boring. Yeah. Anti-boring. Like this bong rip. I blast my plate to consume my way into restful slumber today. Oh yay, I'm blast, play, consume, and sleep. I'm blast, play, consume, and sleep. I'm blasting what I consume into play, and then it makes me sleep. I like to change blast, play, consume, sleep to sing, dance, act, and do comedy. What are those? What are the four things in entertainment business? It's sing, dance, act. What's the other thing? There's one more thing, right? Like in baseball, you've got hitting, fielding, speed, right? Like running the bases, and I guess that's it. I'm all play, no sleep. I just got up from sleeping. I slept all night long. All night long, all night, all night, all night long, all night, all night, all night long, all night, all night, all night long, all night, all night. Dancing in the streets, baby, 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 all night long, all night, all night. all night long. All night long, baby. Boy, wouldn't that be absolutely torturous if in reality you had to have sex all night long? Oh, your Adidas second? Google? I stand corrected, Adska. I stand corrected. How silly of me. I should have realized that you were probably Adidas second Gouda Hokugel. Doy, God, how dumb of me. Hey, look, Rachel's here. She sure is up early. She's gonna win some sort of earliness contest. Why did she not want to go in that door? Because the cat was there? Hi, darling.
Just making. Oh.
Do you want some coffee?
Yes.
I'll make a new pot.
I think Kitty woke up Daddy really early today, huh?
Rachel, would you like to sit in the green chair for a second while I make coffee, or if you don't want to?
Sure. Oh, the green.
Hi, TWFPers. I came out for a bong rip and some coffee. I can't believe Kitty woke Daddy up this morning a couple of times.
Well, then you haven't been paying much attention, Rachel, if you can't believe that, because Kitty does that every morning. It's just usual. Most mornings, I'm not that asleep, you know? It's like, at least lately, I've been sleeping so much that, see, these freaking coffee filters do not work as well as paper towels to use as coffee filters. Isn't that weird?
That is weird. Ooh, Nacho Business is an apple, raspberry, mango, peach. What a combination. Hey, Winston's mom.
Winston's mom was just telling us how much she loves that Lionel Richie song. All night long, all night.
There she is. There's Miss Kitty.
Oh, Lionel Richie.
Oh.
Lionel Richie's such a Lionel Richie.
Yeah.
Can he just stop being such a Lionel Richie for a moment? So despite the fact that we have coffee filters, I'm using paper towels. Why? It just works better.
I'll use the cups when I make it. Because I'm not. Thank you, BB. Mommy loves you too.
Oh yeah, you do what you want, Rich. I'm not telling you this.
Yeah. I get the grounds at the bottom of the cup when I make it with the paper towels.
Hey, Aga. Mwah.
Okay. Can I get my chair back now?
Oh, yeah.
Coffee's brewing. Well, I'll tell you this much. You're impressing the fuck out of me. That's good, it's good. That's a funny sentence. I'm a shell of my former self. A glossolalia utterance propagated through variations on the repetition of the unchanging semantical content behind my sentences.
Wow.
I mean, I get what you mean, but that's a really complicated way to say it. And clever. And it's self-folding in on its selfishness. Everybody knows what they like to do. Whatever it is, do it all. Do it till it pleases you. Just do it till you're satisfied. Is that a song? Is that part of All Night Long by Lionel Richie? Hi Gabri, as you might be, may pronounce it Gabri. What is the topic about? Why? It's about whatever we decide it to be about. Right now it's about what the topic's about. No, this is not about the Model S Plaid, sorry. We're not talking about Tesla products, because talking about Elon Musk at the moment is going to cause me to get scoldy of ENTJs. I say things different ways, but it's always saying the same thing. How about that, Aska? Good. Yeah, we're discussing coffee filters versus paper towels. No, it's not because I just like it better, okay? That's not true. I shit you not. The paper towels work better, make better coffee if you do make a little bundle out of it, right? I've used the coffee filters the last 2 times since my dad brought them out here. And no. I'm sorry. I'm not having it. I'm not having it. Which is to say, I don't accept the notion that a coffee filter is inherently a better way to make coffee than paper towels. You're going to have a hard hill to climb to convince me I'm wrong on this one, because I personally have SI experience with trying it both ways. So, beat that, you. No, your personal experience will win the argument. That's right, it will. That's how it is these days. I am smarter than I was at 30, but I don't visualize things easier, and the density of my sentences has probably decreased. Hello, Sean. One of the best ways to make sure you don't just say the same thing while repeating the same exact thing while saying it different ways is to engage with other people like this, you know? How do you reconcile your 3 answers to these questions into one conclusion? I don't. Why would I need to? why would I pick those particular statements and say they're connected in a way that suggests I draw a specific conclusion? Except for the fact that you presented them to me as a group, there's no connection between them. Inherently, right? It became more important for me that other people understand me. That's why. Which is part of being wise, I guess. I guess in that regard, I'm smarter now in the sense that I'm wiser. I'm better able to use intelligence for what it's supposed to be used for, and to be dumb where I'm dumb and be okay with that too, you know? No, you don't. Not your business. You do not want to move to LA. LA is not bad, you know, but it's kind of a mess. I mean, the funny thing about the idea of semantic density is, I guess that actually implies like a density to the meaning itself, which well, I don't think meaning is correctly measured in density. Whereas I do think that conveyance of information can be done more or less densely, you know. Well, you know what, Gabri? This dream reciprocates and it likes the energy of you. Okay, well, that's better called concision. If you really favor it, let's call it what it is, right? But I think that you're incorrect in asserting that you attain the same density of meaning without complexity of words. That's not true. It's more holistically so and less parsedly so. Things are pretty straightforward when we don't make them unnecessarily complicated. I like the energy of this dream as well, because Adska Gahudska is trying to like win an argument or something, or trying to come in and be like pia 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 pia, but he's getting his ass whooped, you know. My day-to-day vividness of experience of reality, yeah, not really keeping track of that. Has my concision increased? Yeah. YouTube's helping me with that. Being with Rachel's helped. You know, being a super meta cognitive type, which is to say I spend a lot of attention paying attention to how I'm paying attention and what it means and mapping it all out, doesn't necessarily lead to concision, but then trying to tell everybody about it and hopefully get people to listen to you, that requires you to learn better and better concision. The other thing that's taught me concision that a lot of ENTPs don't have is being a debate coach and a debater. So in debate, you've got a certain number of minutes and you've got to answer a certain number of specific concepts perhaps, and or establish a certain number of specific concepts and the justifications for them and the impacts of them and link them back to the frame. So you've got to learn very early on to express those concepts concisely and then move on to the next one. and that's something I practiced both, way back when as a kid, as a debater, so it was sort of imprinted in me. But mostly I developed as in coaching when it came to being concise and operational about what my arguments are. In other words, making them meaningful and purposeful ways. Such as a definition of consciousness that says ability to remember instances of it. That's a very operational definition. So it's an example of how to be actually smart rather than just sound smart and be pedantic. Yeah, I mean, we can keep track of complicated argumentation in our head because of the combination of SI and TI where they are. INTPs are better at it than ENTPs because they've got SI third instead of fourth. They can remember it better. But I'm practiced at it, and being an SI type means things you practice, especially things you practice young, get imprinted in you. Okay, now, Karma's Pimp says it's a bad definition of consciousness, and it's because I suspect he thinks it skews SI. Am I right as to why you think that? The key thing in saying that is how you test it. So you don't test it by asking people to cite examples of themselves doing it. That would be too SI skewed. You test it with those charts that say things like, I should have realized, but meh, right? And then it's not even asking them to come up with a specific instance. It's saying, if you do this, what's the reason? So people can avoid the SI entirely if you want. I thought, yeah, it was the cap, but then. Yeah, so in that regard, it's actually an excellent definition of consciousness because it's operational. We can use it to do something. Definitions are purposeful when we can use them to do things. That is to say, when they've been operationalized. Then they become everyone's tool instead of somebody's pet ground argument, right? You don't want definitions that are simply ground arguments. You want definitions that operationalize. Well, I'm not on to your visiting other countries question right now. I'm in the middle of something else. Would you say your subjective time duration of experience of life has stayed constant? Slows aren't as slow as they used to be, I guess. Time does seem to speed up as you age. You're a blaster. You're a blaster, all right. How did your day-to-day experience of life change? Now, I would say that I got more constrained by the sensory world as I've gotten older, which is to say, I can't handle wear and tear as much. I don't have as much energy. I need more sleep. I can't go as hard and as long without needing more SI. So in some regard, I've gotten weaker in my intuition in that sense, but it's really just my, you mellow out as you get older in a number of different ways. I don't drive as fast as I used to. You know, SE bothers me more. I don't like being jostled. As more than it didn't used to bother me that much, but it always kind of bothered me. I was always subject to motion sickness, you know, but now probably more so than I used to be. As far as my moment to moment experience, I'm still just as intuitive as I ever was. It's just that the amount of times that I pay attention to sensory stuff like SI stuff, it has gone up per day. So I guess the total ratio is probably a little skewed, a little more sensory than it used to be. But like right now, this is the thing about cognitive functions is if you look at right now, what am I doing? I'm TI tool function NE. And the reason I'm paying a lot of attention to ASCII Goodhig's shit is that it's very interesting, right? It's both challenging, but fairly challenging. So in other words, I can provide good answers to those kind of questions, and then towards the end here, it's starting to sound like he's genuinely interested. You know, Drag's gonna ask me a question, but then he got NI censored. That's annoying that they do that. I should send like a message to YouTube. It says, "Dear YouTube, you're always censoring NI in my live streams, but you need to realize it stands for introverted intuition in cognitive function talk, and we use it all the time to refer to introverted intuition like that. It's part of our jargon, and it's really annoying that you keep you keep censoring it. We're not talking about race or whatever it is you think we're talking about. We're talking about cognitive functions, for fuck's sake." You know, it's like, come on. Which function do I think is the most dangerous? I mean, it has to be SE, right? What else could be the most dangerous function? It's the impact function. It has the most capacity to create impact, so it's the most dangerous. But in a broader sense, I think, you know, problems in society stem from not enough NETI, obviously, is what I think. Problems in society stem from not enough NETI and too much TE, SE. And that's what I think. But that's, you know, it's like, obviously, what else is an ENTP going to say? The problem is the world's not enough, like, doesn't listen to me enough. It's definitely what an ENTP is going to say. It's what I'm going to say. It's what I did say. Would you say NI involves the synthesis of different experiences to figure out an underlying pattern and reach a conclusion? No, different observations. Now, experience obviously plays a role in shaping how those observations are attained. But the difference between NI and SI is summed up in the potato touch story, in which I was remembering something I planned to do, keep an eye out, make sure they don't touch your potato, and failing to observe intuitively that because I ordered rice pilaf, that was not going to be a concern, right? I didn't need to concern myself with them touching my potato because I ordered rice pilaf. Instead, I was stuck executing a plan. I was SEing something I had in my SI. Something I had in my SI said, keep an eye out for them touching your potato. So I was doing that, right? NI wouldn't have been synthesizing different experiences. It would have been observing the reality in the moment and knowing what it meant, right? The difference between SI and NI is when you've got your glasses in your hand and you go, where are my sunglasses? Where are my sunglasses? Because you've checked right here and you've checked your pocket and you can't find them. So they must be somewhere off of your body, right? They're not on your face. They're not on your head. They're not right here. They're not right here. Those are the places where my sunglasses are. They're actually in my hand. Okay? But I'm looking around for my sunglasses because that's me synthesizing my experiences, SI, to know that I don't have my sunglasses because they're not in any of the places they normally would be. But NI is going, oh, they're in my hand. Okay, N, are you an ISFJ? Well, Igor, if I were to talk to you, I could confirm whether or not you're actually blind spot NE. You could be fifth. You could be, that'd be the other possibility probably, or fourth. And six kind of countervalues it. I don't make anything of the r/ENTP subreddit ads good hugs because I'm too busy actually speaking truth over here to bother looking at such things. I'm not just a random ENTP. I'm Eric. Well, like a song I have says, I'm no sort of evangelist, but I've got something to say. If I typed you INFJ, you're INFJ. But the thing is, that thing you just did was what? If you're INFJ, then I interpreted it backwards. Instead of mistaking your experiences for your observations, you mistook your observations for experiences. Define fussy. It's Eric when he's mad and comes on the internet and complains about shit and says, Boba Fett, where are you? You need to listen to me whine. And then Boba Fett shows up to listen to me whine. But he's an hour in, so... Ooh. It's a very sunny day in Connecticut. And today we run out of weed. Doom bum bum. How would I define FI? It's the subjective judgment function. So here's an example of a circumstance in which I need to use FI to make a good decision. For the last month or so, Rachel's been experiencing these medical problems, including loss of fine motor skills and gross motor skills, some of them. And basically, she has neuropathy due to a toxic drug interaction. Regardless, during that period of time, I have her to concern myself with, but I also need to make sure I spend enough time with my dad. And he's getting old, you know, and my mom's in a nursing home. I haven't seen her in ages because they've got this new requirement that well, the difference being, okay, in it's like with the sunglasses. If you're NI, you're not going to experience that very often. That experience of holding your sunglasses and going, where are my sunglasses? And then someone else going, they're in your hand. That's not going to happen very often to you. Because that thing of where are my sunglasses, at least for me, begins with here, 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 no, where are my sunglasses? And that's me using my experience to refer to where they normally might be, rather than any active observation of reality, which is my least conscious function, which is the SE part, that NI is predicated on usually, right? When there was this really pimped out wheelchair at the estate sale that my dad ended up going and buying for $10 off the list price. He got it for $50, and it's like really pimped out, like it reclines and it's nice. Rachel's the one who noticed it and suggested I tell my dad. Now my mom already has a wheelchair, but it's kind of shitty, right? It's very usable in the service of my NE. When it's my idea, it's very usable. It provides me what I need to see, what I need to know, and stuff, or what I need to observe for my thing. What if losing your sunglasses like that isn't an experiential issue? What does that mean? I mean, are you saying what if you never do that? If you never do that, then you're SI-polar. Probably. Well, SI-polar doesn't need to learn from experience because they never do that, right? They never hold their sunglasses in their hand and say, where are my sunglasses? Because they're always observing and not remembering. So anyway, FI is a judging function that you use to manage those kind of things. How much time should I direct to this person, that person? What's most important to me? What's most important right now? Hey, I can't deal with this shit right now because I got something important going on, right? And then the FE thing is and this is the difference between FE and FI, right? At the end of a typing session the other day, I said to a guy, I gotta go because I gotta help my elderly father take a new wheelchair down to my mother at the nursing home. Now, the reason that's FE powerful is because other people agree that's important. Okay? But that wasn't important to me. That was just important to my dad. And it was important to me because it was important to my dad. He did not really need me to go help him take it down there. But he wanted us to do it together, and so we did, you know. So, what might be actually really important to me, it might be something like, there's this game coming out I want to see, and so I don't want to extend this session any longer because I want to watch this basketball game or whatever. That's FI. Wanting to end the session like right on time because I got something I want to do. I'm bored with the session or whatever, or just want to have a good reason to leave. That's the dad's thing. It was true in either way, but well, I believe in God too. Sort of. I mean, I do when I'm praying. The point is, I guess, the mistake is to think that a belief really persists between your instances of affirming it. That's the mistake. Biblical lectures. I've already explained to everybody. Yes, I'm polar FI. But being able to map it, analyze it correctly, and being able to do a good job of paying attention in that fashion, and by some third party's observations, are totally different things. So, yes, I'm very capable of metacognating, as are all ENTPs. We're one of the two most metaphysical types. If you can't really tell the difference between observation and experience, and you have trouble with that question a lot, there's a decent chance that you might be one of them eighth. Because eighth, I think, is our least conscious, and yeah. ENTP and INFJ are the two most metaphysical types, yeah. That is a great lesson, Arga. Designate space for stuff, then put stuff in that space. It's a great lesson. But you know what lesson I would say that would be equivalent, that's a little bit, but framed the other way? I'd probably put it like this. Don't decide to put something in a new place. You know, it's like, okay, this is important. For a long time now, I've just had it sitting right here. That's not a good enough place. I'm going to put it in a new place. That is a recipe for losing something. You know what I'm saying? Has that ever happened to you, Arga? Where you thought, after something had a perfectly good place and was there for a long time, you thought to yourself, that place isn't good enough for this, and it needs to be in a new place, and then you lost it. That's happened to me for sure. I try not to do that anymore. Don't pick a new place, Eric. Just leave it where it is. It's earned its spot there now. Just leave it there. No, it's not a faintish line. It's pretty easy, really, to distinguish between the two. Like, do you know first, act first, react first, or decide first? Seventh slot says, okay, Know, act, react, and what was the fourth one? Consistently. 8 slot probably doesn't. You did that with my keys. You forgot I put them in my duffel bag, looked in the usual spots, deducing where it could be, and retracing my steps during the day seems SI. That does seem SI. Oh no, Dr. Fever on WKRP is dead? Dr. Johnny Fever? I will agree with you, OKN. That sounds SI. If that's how you're normally operating, then. Are you trying to say maybe I mistyped you and you're an ISFJ? Okay, maybe I did. It's possible. It's not impossible. I just drop it here for now because it will come in handy shortly. Right, boy, are we lying to ourselves when we say that. We have incorrectly anticipated the utility of this thing. It turns out we won't need it until after we finally throw it away. Whatever it is. Is time speeding up on the order of magnitude of minutes or just years? It's bad times seem less interminable and good times seem more fleeting. Quit ordering my magnitudes. I don't like that. Leave my magnitudes in chaos. Do you think it's typical for knowing types to type people mainly on instinct and justified after the fact? Yeah. Especially NI. I don't know how much SI people really make an effort at typing people. Until you throw it away. Then the next day you need it. For sure. You know, then the next day you need it. Oh, I just read type descriptions and I typed myself based on that. That was back before even... There really wasn't anything about cognitive functions that I found anyway on the internet back then. And so I just read the type descriptions. I took a couple tests and typed ENTP. And then I learned about cognitive functions, and I've never for a second doubted my type. I knew right away, it was obvious, and I mean, I'm the poster boy, frankly. This is what an ENTP 7 looks like. And as Peter Dentici said, I'm like, when I took his long Enneagram test, I got like 31 out of 32 sevens. So, I'm pretty 7. No, Aga, that's not why we're hoarding stuff. Because it'll probably be useful someday in some prospective project that we have in mind. You've gotten it all wrong. It's not because it is useful. It's because it might become useful at some point. That we can't anticipate when we might need this thing to do something with. Well, if you type on instinct, then you're probably a knowing type. But I mean, that's knowing one or two is going to type on instinct. Either one. And whereas it shows you, like, if you look at like Amy, right? Amy's using a subjective deliberation function, but she's still got her deliberation and knowledge functions in the same spots. So, like me, she's got pretty good access to both NI and SI. And, like me, she's a deliberative tool function user, which means, because what you're doing there in typing somebody is a deliberative process. And that stack lineup, which includes ENTPs, ENFPs, ESFPs, and ESTPs, allows those parties to use both knowledge functions and use a deliberation function as a tool function, and an action function as the frame of reference, which is we're trying to get something done here. And I think that's a good stack for typing people. Yeah, Amy, ESFP, who, shockingly has become a typologist colleague that I actually respect. So, I mean, what? What the fuck? That's part of the delightful, wonderful world of YouTube. It's like, I never, ever would have guessed that. I never would have guessed that Amy would become this colleague. Like, she asked me to type somebody who she was having a little trouble nailing down, and she articulated like the right reasons why she was having trouble nailing it down, because she wasn't sure if they were any dom or not. Well, that's the right reason to refer them to me, because, and I just did it as a favor. I didn't charge the person anything. That makes Amy and me colleagues. So, someday maybe I'll return the favor. Yo. So, would you say you've lived up to the majority of your subjective experience of life? No, I don't feel like that at all. And I suppose that's partially because I'm an SI conscious person. I value what's come before. Everything's part of an ongoing story. I'm excited to get to the exciting parts of the story, even though I'm still just doing the same thing, basically, being on the internet talking. But I get interesting questions like that thrown at me that I've never heard before and want to answer. And that makes everything about my life not subjective, right? It's like it's all out there for public scrutiny. Everything is not subjective. The subjective part of my life is lived in my private time, eating food and sleeping and I still remember a session. Eric was like, "I'm sorry to say this, but I got a cancer diagnosis." If you take a personality quiz test, you answer the questions by NI speculating about how you are or referencing specific SI experiences. Now, if I take a personality test, I answer it by first intuiting what they're trying to get at, and then trying to exclude my my intuitive thoughts about that from my answer, and then trying to decide how much I want to facilitate what I think they're trying to accomplish. But that doesn't cascade down, right? So if just because time, the passage of time is subjectively experienced, that subjectivity doesn't cascade down to other things. King is being better at being themselves every day. I used to be a real bad people pleaser. They'd only please bad people. I always thought differently than others, and because I am the outlier, I must be wrong. False. Is it valid to say that somebody with a cognitive disability could be a conflicting type or a non-type? Probably not, but they're probably untypable, so I can't really substantiate that answer. That's the best answer I have for you to that question, Drag. Drag asked an interesting question. Is it valid to say somebody with a cognitive disability could be a conflicting type or a non-type? My answer is probably not. Probably they are a type, but I probably can't test that. It probably can't really be tested. And so, in such an instance, I can't substantiate my claim. Do you relate to all members of your type? Other ENTPs and I will get a little prickly with each other, including Jeffrey and me. Jeffrey and I, well, he likes to make me wait. ENTPs don't like to wait, and so they expect the other person to wait a minute so to make sure they don't have to wait. Well, I don't like that. But, he's just like me regarding that shit. And we're trying to out-meow each other. Well, that's an interesting question. That's good. It's good. I would say at 30 and 50 are the same subjective duration. Well, in this instance, what we have to do is differentiate between what I would call turn-based reality and experiential reality. So, in terms of what we're doing right now, this is a turn-based reality. It's a total expression of conceptual meanings, right? That we could articulate a number of specific concepts, ideas, whatever, that were expressed in full or in part here during the course of the stream. In other words, we could flow the round. It comprises nothing but language and these sort of things, like my gestures and my meowing and whatever. But more or less, it comprises nothing but meanings. So at least the part that I'm paying attention to comprises nothing but the words and the meanings. And the durational quality of those experiences remains the same, which is there's a detachment from time entirely that's necessary to operate in this frame of reference, which says the world is going to wait for me to finish talking about this. That nothing's going to happen or move forward while this conversation is going on. Jeffrey's dad is ISTP, as is Jeffrey's sister, and so there's not a lot to say about them because they don't have a lot to say. ENTPs are annoying to each other because each ENTP thinks they're the one who's supposed to be doing this, pontificating pedantically at people, and or cutting down pedantic people to size with their correctness. One of those two things. ENTPs all kind of basically feel like that's what their job is. So when they run across each other, it's like, hey, what are you doing here? That's my job. Is it mediated by novelty? Is it mediated by something else? What mediates the subjective passage of time? Well, the alternative to turn-based time would be a real-time experience like taking a bath. Is my time experience of taking a bath different now than it was when I was younger? As far as I could tell, no. So, it's like, it's not so much that time is passing faster as your understanding of time beforehand has changed. In other words, when you were a little kid, you expect a year to take forever. And you don't update your time passage maps very often. Yeah, I think that's false. Drag. I think that's false. The thing is, we're all immature, Aga. I don't think any of us really ever fully grow up. Yeah, so after you've lived a lot of years, 1 year, when you're thinking about it in advance, it doesn't sound like such a long time. But it still probably sounds longer when you think about it in advance than it seems to have comprised when you're done experiencing it. So, our subjective perception of time is built of a few different things there, right? Regardless, it doesn't really have much to do with subjectivity, which is sort of the most important vector there. Subjectivity as a calculus is one that doesn't factor that in so much, except insofar as recency and locality biases impact reasoning. I think two ESFPs would probably get along pretty well. They would exchange statements like, I like Mia, and then, I like Mia too. I like Mia. I like Mia too. You know, important conversations. I think you got it right, Jaguar. Observation is SE and experience is SI. Now we think of observation as being the NI part of it because we think not of what of the observing, but rather of the knowing what we're observing. It's hard for us to distinguish between those two things, you know. Are people generally most annoyed by folk who are DOMs to their polar? I don't think so. Like, I mean, I don't know if, well, what I mean is, you've got 4 communication functions, which might be called metaphysical functions, and you've got 4 experiential functions. The communication functions are NE, NI, TI, FE, and the experiential functions are SE, SI, FI, and TE. And so, to say that they're the 2 most metaphysical types, it's because ENTPs and INFJs, everybody has 3 of one and 1 of the other. But INFJs and ENTPs are the only ones that go communication, 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 experience. So that's what I mean by they're the most metaphysical. We have our sensory function in the 4th, and all the other experiential things are in the back. Whereas like ENFPs, they've got FITE and SI, so they actually have 1 communication function, which is their dominant, followed by 3 experience functions. Well, the other thing is, the other type that could be a little fussy about having their TI tested is 4th slot. ENFJs don't like having their TI tested either. And so, in fact, in some ways, I think ENFJs dislike having their TI tested more than ESFPs or ENFPs because um, they're more aware of the social impacts of it. You know, Mario. I tell you who has to be SE polar is the guy in Pitfall because he's chosen to take a walk in a terrible spot with all these dangers, and he keeps, no matter how hard you try, he ends up falling into some sort of thing and dying eventually, you know. What type is Chicken Little? SI Dom. Gets hit on the head by something and says the sky is falling. That's an SI Dom. That's called recency and locality bias to the max. Where do you draw the line that defines whether a criticism is too pedantic? Well, I mean, you can see whether somebody's trying to it's fine to be adversarial, but they need to be fair in their adversary, which means if you answer a question, they've got to accept that answer is a good answer. You know, they can't just ignore it, and you know, there are truly good and bad answers. So if they're honest about that, then they can be as adversarial as they want. But if they're dishonest about that, then they're not being critical, they're being just pedantic and or adversarial. He's really good at timing his jumps on turtles. Maybe you're talking about Frogger? Or are you talking about the Pitfall guy? See, my Pitfall guy was terrible, I gotta tell you. Maybe yours was better. But my guy kept falling in holes and stuff. They used to have this game for the Atari called Journey that I played. Mario's good at jumping on turtles? I don't know. I don't play a lot of Mario or anything. I was an Atari user, you know. And then I was an Apple IIe user. There were some fun games on the Apple IIe. I used to use programs like Locksmith 4.0 to crack the encoding on it so I could copy it. Yeah, I remember enjoying Journey. I mean, I don't remember little Pop-Tart how I decided that. I just read the type. Like, when I first encountered MBTI, it wasn't until my early 30s. And all I encountered was the MBTI style online tests and type descriptions. I didn't encounter anything about cognitive functions. So just reading the type descriptions, it was obvious to me I was an ENTP. I mean, I'm as textbook as they get, really. So, aggressive hugging. Is that what wrestling is called? Aggressive hugging? I like that. Has my visualization ability decreased with age? Actually, I think it's probably stayed about the same, which is pretty poor. I've always been languageized. So, you know, I preferred the SE style of the guy in Karate Champ. Because you just move the sticks like this, like, yeah, and then he'd do a move, you know. There wasn't a lot of stick skill involved. Just had to learn a few moves and time them right. And you usually get some points just on a straight up front kick too. You know, you're trying to get to 2 points so you go to the next place and fight the next guy. Full point. What are your thoughts on Patrick Star being an INTP? No. Patrick Star is not an INTP. Okay, I think I'm about ready to go. Back to bed now. What type is Sasha Grey? I think she's got to be an ESTP. That's what I think. She's fun. She's the fun type. What things give me the most hedonic value? Are you that hedonic guy? Definitely not running around with guns. Sex more than masturbation for sure. Food. A lot food too. I don't know who Sasha Fierce is. I'm typing on all 13 doctors. I don't know what that is. So, okay. I am going to call it a stream because I'm going to go back to bed. I haven't eaten breakfast yet either. Sure, I mean, if by hedonic you just mean joy, like things that I can take joy in, I take joy in this, you know? I take joy in coming up with some clever joke. I take joy in making jokes. I take joy in lots of things all the time. I had a huge dinner last night, but, you know, I'm pretty eaty. No, I mean, IQ is going to be correlated with personality type, of course. INTPs, INTJs are going to get the highest scores. You know? They're the ones who made the test to come up with a measure of why they're better than other people, even though they never do anything. That's the whole point of the IQ test. Right? Now I have a number to prove I'm better than you. No, I gotta go to sleep now. I'm tired. Even if I were to eat a little food, I should probably eat a little food. Okay, let me get a little bit of food. I'll put on some music for you to listen to. You hush a bush, Mr. Drinkwater. Nobody cares about your water drinking ways. So true. Nobody cares about your water drinking ways, water drinker. Quit being such a water drinker. Boy, water drinkers are always so full of themselves, you know? Ain't that the truth? Yeah, it is. So true. How true is it? So true.
Francis. Be the leader. Francis. Your mic.
Jane is mom.
Francis. Go to feeder.
Not
Crushing the monsters. Put up a fight.
and trample on plans to land a quarrel.
Francis. Be the leader. Francis. Your
To
mic.
command us, locking down our absolute ruling down Jesus to Levinas.
Go to feeder.
The canvas.
Crushing and one who puts up a fight. Francis, be the leader. Express your might. Go to feeder. Crushing and one who puts up a fight. Francis, be the leader. Your might.
Jane is mom.
Francis, go to feeder. Crushing and one who puts up a fight. Francis, be the leader. Your might.
Jane is mom.
Francis, go to feeder. Crushing and one who puts up a fight.
He's Gregory in disguise. He hates the lies, wants to confront the men, always telling them. But every time he tries, they only run and hide. Again he is denied, chance to yell at them.
So now he's Gregory in disguise, hands in his pockets. Now he's walking down the drive, averts his eyes. He doesn't want you guys to realize that he's Gregory in disguise, hands in his pockets. Now he's walking down the drive, averts his eyes. He doesn't want you guys to realize that bridge brings a new approach. Sneakily, he'll try to encroach up on the guilty. Then he'll finally get his chance to yell at them. He's Gregory in disguise, hands in his pockets. Now he's walking down the drive, averts his eyes. He doesn't want you guys to realize he's Gregory in disguise, hands in his pockets. Now he's walking down the drive, averts his eyes. He doesn't want you guys to realize that
He's Gregory in disguise. He hates the lies, wants to confront the men, always telling them. But every time he tries, they only run and hide. Again he is denied, chance to yell at them.
he's Gregory in disguise, hands in his pockets. Now he's walking down the drive, averts his eyes. He doesn't want you guys to realize he's Gregory in disguise, hands in his pockets. Now he's walking down the drive, averts his eyes. He doesn't want you guys to realize he's Gregory in disguise, hands in his pockets. Now he's walking down the drive, averts his eyes. He doesn't want you guys to realize he's Gregory in disguise, hands in his pockets. Now he's walking down the drive. He's Gregory. Hold your breath, expect the best, assess as less slop and mess. At least you'll confess that the less than the rest isn't confusing. Lisbeth bet the rest were musing, but Lisbeth didn't have any confusion. She rolled over them October to June, then took off for the summer. underway. Wary of every doubt, cause it's scary, but that's about all you can say. The various plans all about various deeds underway. Wary of every doubt, cause it's scary, but that's about all you can say. Now in fall, whispers began to carry in the hall that Lisbeth's urgency compelled them all to hide away from her inside a bathroom stall. She's berating, always making her point. Started hating, always feeling annoyed. Bullying now her way through you. It means she likes you too. The various plans all about various deeds underway. Wary of every doubt, cause it's scary, but that's about all you can say. The various plans all about various deeds underway. Wary of every doubt, cause it's scary, but that's about all you can say. The various plans all about various deeds underway. Wary of every doubt, cause it's scary, but that's about all you can say. The various plans all about various deeds underway. Wary of every doubt, cause it's scary, but that's about all you can say.
It's a very cloudy day in Los Angeles. And today we run out of time. Struggles past, troubles still to come. The day is nearly done. Could someone buy us some more time? Cloudy day in Los Angeles. Cloudy day in LA. I'm no sort of evangelist, but I have something to say. It's a very rainy day in Los Angeles. And today we hope for more time. Struggles past, troubles still to come. The day is nearly done. Could someone buy us some more time? Cloudy day in Los Angeles. Cloudy day in LA. I'm no sort of evangelist, but I have something to say. Life can strangely be forgiving to those who stay awake all night, and mostly voices say to give in and try to sap your will to fight.
Whether I'm supposed to be here or just be soon forgotten noise, it's sort of based on what I see here and also on what I avoid.
It's a very cloudy day in Los Angeles. And today we run out of time. Struggles past, troubles still to come. The day is nearly done. Someone buy us some more time.
Seems like years that I've been pressing forward in this barrier area, which precludes me from progressing past this point. Every time I step on that, I learn just as little I know about what. Every time I step on years that I've been pressing forward in this barrier area, which precludes me from progressing past this point. Wherefore art thou, Borneo? And wherefore were you Guam? What for did you get thorny though? Did you have another fight with mom? When so forth cometh that, and whosoever is that on its back. Every time I step on that, I learn just as little I know about what paranormal stuff. Every time I step on that, I learn just as little I know about what paranormal stuff. Every time I step on that, I learn just as little I know about paranormal stuff. People everywhere gather up in a means, outraged at how they miss a sign. How do they set their priorities? These foreign backstabbing entities, ensuing heartache and misery, follow necessarily from their savage ways. Insulting Carson and Desiree, we're stuck with such petty larceny. We all petition directors and call it destruction of the whole damn world. Julie shares our limits. Her limits are what she should. Julie will do. Julie will. Jerry shares 4 minutes. He just can't do things like they do. Julie always thought that she should have got to when she had the chance to buy. Julie soon forgot to buy soon and on, although she have a call. People everywhere gather up in enemies, outraged at how they miss a sign. How do they set their priorities? These foreign backstabbing entities, ensuing heartache and misery, follow necessarily from their savage ways. Insulting Carson and Desiree, we're stuck in such petty larceny. We all petition directors and call it destruction of the whole damn world. So that's what your coffee should look like if you have enough creamer in it. That's the message of that, okay? That's the message of that story. The point being, you need a lot of creamer in your coffee or else you're doing it wrong. Well, that's why I got, when I went to the store last time, I got 7 of these, okay? They say on it that there are 500 servings in this thing. No way in hell are there 500 servings in this. Zero chance. You know what this tastes like? When you put enough of this coffee creamer in it, it tastes just like a coffee ice cream milkshake from Baskin Robbins. It's not sugar. It's not sugar. It's non-dairy, lactose-free, cholesterol-free, gluten-free. I don't know how they make this shit, but whatever it is, it's perfect for coffee. I shit you not, it tastes like a hot coffee ice cream milkshake from Baskin Robbins. It tastes just like it. It's not sweetened, it's just regular Coffee Mate. I don't know if they're sweetened it with anything or not, but it's Coffee Mate is the best brand of coffee creamer as well. Let me tell you this. Yes, but that's what I'm saying. It's not really 3,500 servings. They're lying on the package. No, the powdered creamer is the only way to make a truly delicious cup of coffee. Is put way more than they say powdered creamer in, with a strong or even medium cup of coffee is fine. And you will taste what I'm tasting right now. I promise you, you will not be disappointed. You'll be like, oh my God, Eric's right. That tastes just like a coffee ice cream milkshake from Baskin Robbins. You will agree with me after you try it. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think those mapping terms collapse very well to what your subjective experience of whether you've used your own time wisely is, you know? Yeah, I love them too. Sometimes Rachel and I will go up to this one area up there on Foothill that's got various stores. And in the same shopping center, there's both a Baskin Robbins and a Jamba Juice. And we often plan to go to the Jamba Juice and end up going to the Baskin Robbins because they both have cold drinks, right? Like slushy kind of drinks. But what do you really want? Do you really want a juicy thing or do you really want an ice cream shake? You probably really want an ice cream shake. Or I'll sometimes split the difference and get like, well, they do have smoothies at Baskin Robbins as well. You can get smoothies there. But don't force your lewdness upon my eyes via your avatar. Well, sometimes I feel like I'm not getting enough fruit in my diet, and then that's when I think Jamba Juice. But a lot of times I'll compromise. I'll go with the Baskin Robbins smoothie. Or the other great thing to get at Baskin Robbins that probably nobody really has had here, I bet. You kind of got to order it by knowing that it exists. It's not. I don't even know if it's exactly on the menu, but you got to get a daiquiri ice freeze made with soda water rather than Sprite. That's a good. That's a good drink at Baskin Robbins. Okay, a daiquiri ice freeze made with soda water instead of Sprite. If you tell them that, you'll get yourself a very refreshing drink. It's super refreshing. I recommend it, you know. I highly recommend it. Are you being glacier cognizant? You know, all you're doing is reducing their opportunities to make a living. Milkmaids need work too. You know what I think is one of the problems with the current world is there's not enough of a labor demand for wet nurses. When did we stop hiring other women to breastfeed our children? I want to know. And why? Why don't important career women, instead of bottle feeding their children, hire a wet nurse? You know what I'm saying? I think you do. I think you do. It's discriminatory against lactating women. You know, they can't use their body's milk to feed other people's children. Oh, you probably a crack smoker. I don't want my baby to get your crack in the breast milk. Every baby needs a little crack in their breast milk. I envision these parents who just hire a random assortment of wet nurses that are just random people they encounter on the internet come and breastfeed their baby on the grounds that being exposed to a multiplicity of germs is good for a baby's immune system. And in the same fashion, that being exposed to a multiplicity of breast milk borne drugs is also good for a baby's drug getting used to system. That's called Good Parenting 101. You know, rich people in LA will hire Spanish only speaking Mexican ladies to raise their children because they want them to be able to speak Spanish and English both well. That's a phenomenon here in Los Angeles. Pretty smart, really. You know, there's one thing I learned from watching a little bit of that movie Victoria, that television miniseries or whatever you'd call it, Victoria. It's that I am the Queen of England, not a brood sow. Queens of England don't breastfeed their own babies. Right. Babies should be introduced to their first cigarette young so they know what to avoid. I have played chess plenty of times. Am I particularly good at it? No. Am I particularly interested in it? No. Not anymore. There was a stretch in my life when I was rather interested in it and looked at these books about that had like situations and what you should do in them and try to figure them out yourself, and then you check the answer. I had a book that was like that for a while in college. I was looking at it and trying to get better at chess, but then I realized I've got kind of a low ceiling. I'm never going to be that good at it, you know. Okay. Yeah, that's the problem with chess, Rain. That's the problem. Chess, for me anyway, always boils down to this. Well, let's see. If I go there, then he'll go there, then I'll go there, then he'll go there, then I'll go there, then he'll go there. Huh. I'm not sure. Now it's getting too complicated. Alright, let me look about this one. Well, if I go there, then he could go either there or there. But if he goes there, then I'll go there. But if he goes there, then I'll go there. Now that's getting too complicated. That's chess for Eric, okay? It's not fun. It's just a lot of TI work. It's probably TINE work that is not a good way to play chess, apparently. People who play chess well don't do it like that. Oh yeah? Good for him. A group of ferrets is called a business of ferrets? Well, I mean, the thing about fraps is you don't really want all that coffee and caffeine in your milkshake. It's a little too, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I end up going, that's too many things to go think down. That's too many things to go think down. I guess this one, I don't see any explicit harms from it. It's like I play this kind of harm prevention chess. It's not a very good way to win chess. I guess I go with my feelings ultimately. Well, I like this horse, so I'll use this. I mean, NI is what you gotta use when it's too complicated to parse. But it's still an objective matter. By naming my chess pieces, giving them each names, like calling one of my knights Franklin and the other one Joseph, I get very attached to certain of them and I make my choices accordingly. That's called FI chess. I just want to make sure Franklin's alive at the end. Whatever else happens is fine. Very carefully. Alright, I'm done streaming. I gotta go to bed. I'm tired. I'm breading it. It's time for me to bread. It's true. If you learn to like losing with your feelings, then you will be the true winner every time. So wise. Okay. Goodbye, everybody.